become one?
It wasn't necessarily I was going to become one, Harrison. It was really let me go to law school to figure out how to navigate this whole like court, because I had to do motions and I didn't know what a motion was, and I had to write a motion because they wanted to suppress any evidence that I opened the dispensary legally under California state law, and this was a federal case, and so they wanted to suppress all of the legalities that we followed under state law. I didn't know how to write a motion. The public defender wouldn't write a motion for me. And so I was like, well, let me go to law school to learn how to write some motions, do some discovery, figure out what I need to do in order to secure my freedom. So it really wasn't to become a lawyer, Harrison, because I was under indictment. So I was like, there's no way I'm going to become an attorney. I'm a felon. I'm under indictment. This is to fight for my freedom.
Got it. Okay. So as far as, because that's very interesting to me. Did you finish law school, or how far did you go in that process?
So long story short, in 2010, so 3 years after I was indicted, the Obama administration came into in 2008. And once the Obama administration came in, there was a memo the Department of Justice published that said any raids for dispensary operators in states where marijuana is legal, if you follow the law, we're not going to prosecute. This was 3 years after I was indicted. So in 2010, the Department of Justice gave me a plea. Now, they weren't going to let me off, scot-free. It's like, we raided you. We had the DEA, the FBI, the IRS, criminal investigation unit, and all these man hours to throw Ron away for 40 years. We're not just going to throw away that investigative work and dismiss it. We got to get a pound of flesh. And what did they get me on? Taxes for filing a false tax return, because a medical marijuana dispensary is not legal under federal law. So any tax deductions that we took for the business were not legal. So that was the plea agreement that the Department of Justice, gave me, if you will, in dismissal of all of the other charges that I was facing 40 years for. So if you sign this plea, and you'll just be liable for the taxes, we'll dismiss all those other charges for 40 years. And so that's what I got in 2010. Wasn't finished with law school, Harrison. I was only in school for a year once I signed my plea agreement. And so me and the wife were like, well, I've already finished a year of law school and escaped 40 years of federal bid time by the chin of my chinny chin skin, or whatever you want to call it, and I've already finished 1 year of law school. If I do 3 more years, I'll have a degree. So I've never quit what I've started, if you will, and my kids at the time were watching me going to law school, Harrison. So it was like, I can't quit something and my kids watching me quit. I got to set an example, because I can't tell my kids not to quit something, but here I am quitting. So it really wasn't like I wanted to keep going to finish law school. It was like, I kind of have no choice with the kids watching me, and I've already knocked down 1 year. So let's do 3 more years part-time and I'll have a law degree and it'll be worth it. So I continued on.
Got it. Okay. So at this point, do you actually practice law, or did you just... You damn, bro.
So I went through hell with the state bar, just to be, frank. But they denied me because I passed the bar exam here in California. It took me 2 times to pass the bar exam. I'm not afraid to admit that. A lot of my comrades in law school took it the first time and passed it. But taking that, passing the bar exam, there's this moral character process that you have to go through. And part of that, Harrison, was disclosing all of my, criminal past and things that I've done, including the medical marijuana dispensary, but also things that I've done in my youth. I was arrested as a youth when, as I discussed in my book, and just some other domestic violence things that I had gotten in my youth as well. I'll happily admit that I was the abused, not the abuser. Most people assume, black men are the most of the time the abuser, but you read the police reports; they're all public. I didn't do anything. But long story short, that's really what the Moral Character Committee went through as far as my background, and he denied me my law license back in 2016, and so I had to wait and go through therapy and really just a whole assessment of my character, at my individual character, in order to get over the hump of becoming a licensed attorney. And by the grace of God, went through some therapy and went through some other, realizations as far as what is my purpose as an attorney. Like what am I really trying to accomplish here? And once I was honed in on my purpose and scope of being an attorney, I put my application again for moral character, and they gave me the green light and gave me my bar license in 2019.
Damn, Ron, that's a beautiful story, brother. So it seemed like it started with such strife and like confusion, anguish. I know you were upset when all that happened. You felt like it was a wrongdoing. Like for you facing 40 years for opening a dispensary when they're on every corner now. Like, to be frank, this is some bullshit, bro. But the fact that you came through that, and now coming all the way through it to be an attorney on the other side, damn, Ron, that's damn near amazing, bro.
And that's why I wrote the book, Harrison, because that's a lot of people in our culture, a lot of black men, they become products of their environment, or they make choices, that may set them back a few years. And then they come to the conclusion that this is it. I've already, my bed has been made, and that's not the case. That is not the case. And so that's really the point of the book, is to, the audacity of dope, and dope being that Achilles heel in many black families, especially, during the 80s and the crack, pandemic or endemic, or whatever you want to call it. Marijuana is another one that, they say that's the gateway drug, and in our community, in our culture, there's all these things that say you smoke or you use marijuana, it'll lead to other harder things, if you will. And I'm here to, no, it doesn't. All of that is fake news, and that's why I wrote the book.
And one of the biggest things that attracted me to your story, Ron, is the audacity. Let's break the title of that book down for everybody, brother. The audacity of dope and perseverance. I like that, man.
I had to do a play on our president. I say our president because we've only had one in our culture, and that's Obama. He wrote the book, The Audacity of Hope. And so, looking at my situation and circumstances, the audacity of hope. Like, I hope, that I become an attorney, or I hope that I, get, above these hurdles and circumstances. That's the audacity. I like that title. And I'm like, well, when I was dealing with growing up in my youth was cocaine and marijuana, and how that led our family into jail or into prison, or into, addiction. And it was like the audacity of dope and perseverance, in that even though dope is an Achilles heel in every form, whether it be alcohol, heroin, what they call it in Detroit, heroin is what we call it out here in California. It all, is an Achilles heel in our culture, in Black culture. But we can persevere, we can overcome. And that's where the title comes from, is, the audacity of dope, and that it puts us down, but it's a spin on the book for Obama, The Audacity of Hope. And also Obama is, a huge reason as to why I'm, an attorney today, because of that memo. Had Bush been in as president for another 4 years, I would be doing a 40-year bid somewhere. So it was looking at that whole palette of like, you know, my situation, the title, Obama, and still coming out on top. Like that's where that title comes from, Harrison. If that answers that question.
It definitely makes sense. It definitely makes sense because I think when I heard the title, some of the things that I thought about, that of course, the audacity of what, you know, all of these drugs have done to our community, and to deny